Well, I'm glad you're here, and thank you, Michael, for letting me share what we're doing with Sprocket. What this is a nonprofit. We started a nonprofit, 501c3. Our charter is education, but we build programs in education, entrepreneurship, and community learning. So we have these 3 segments that we actually try to reach with technology and learning. And we try to make it as affordable as possible. The idea of Sprocket grew out of another project that came with the Paducah Public Schools and what is called an Area Technology Center, which is like the tech school. And we actually got a grant through the state to tear down our existing building and then rebuild and just soup it all up with tech programs and advanced manufacturing tools and all kinds of wonderful things. So behind Paducah Tillman sits now what is called the Innovation Hub. It's still not open. Sprocket was created to be a prototype, a space where we could figure out what those programs should be in a new space of new kind of learning. And so we started doing that. And as we did, a funny thing happened. We were serving kids, and then a bunch of adults showed up. And so we realized, wow, we have a big reach here. There's really a need, an untapped need. But these are a few of the things that we have done with youth. And actually, before I keep going, Suzanne Clinton, raise your hand real quick. So this will be who you're going to want to talk to later, as well as me when we're done. Suzanne is our managing director of all these programs right now, and putting all our applications together with the state. So she's helping us push forward. It's really exciting. But she also helped create this wonderful piece called the Lemonade Academy. Did any of you guys hear about it on Channel 6? We had a really, yeah. So there's kids all over the community wanted to be entrepreneurs, and so we created an academy for them. And they got to prototype their space before they even built them. So they learned prototyping. They learned accounting. They worked with somebody at mixologist or something to learn how to put together recipes, and actually they had to all get business licenses, and the health, what do they call that? The health inspector came and told them, how to be safe. So really fantastic. Channel 6 jumped on board and then was just all over the place with that. So that's kind of one of our entrepreneurial ventures. We want to start ramping that up. So if that's of interest to you, we'd like to start growing that into a middle school program and then a high school program. We also teach summer camps. So we do robotics, we do 3D printing. They do learn how to build with remote devices, so Arduino, Raspberry Pis. All kinds of fantastic camps take place over the summer. And then we have also hosted a hackathon. Are you guys familiar with what a hackathon is? No? Okay, yes, okay. Hackathons are really fun and they're really cool. They can be half-day, all-day events. What you do, if you're with an industry and you kind of have this like aching problem or weird kind of quirky problem, the problem we were working on here was with Kaleo, and it was a funny problem. They were talking about how do we keep people from taking their phones into the restroom. That was really it, because so much time is spent now in the restroom, apparently. So we were like, these are youth from McCracken County High School in an engineering program, and they are actually prototyping devices to solve a problem. How do we create devices so that we can actually either change behavior? And so they did a half-day session. Then we do a Shark Tank with that. And they actually have winners. And so they have all these constraints they have to meet in the challenge, and they learn so much. They learn about business. They learn about technology. They learn about just the company that brings the program in. This time it was Kaleo, and it was Doug Truitt. And it was just about the funniest thing ever. And they all just loved that, that they were helping a company or thinking about things that are in the real world. So those are some of the things we do. And we are looking for other companies that want to be part of this, even in healthcare. It can be anything, but let us know, and we would love to host a half-day session. It's a great way, too, to get high schoolers really engaged and really interested in your company or in your industry. So as we've been doing this, we've We've been going for, I don't know, 18 months now. A great opportunity came by for us to partner with some folks who really do entrepreneurship well. Not only do they do entrepreneurship well, they make companies really well, and they make tech companies. This is a group in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. It's called Codify. And Codify is actually a big co-work space. If you're familiar with WeWork, anybody heard of WeWork? Yeah? So a place where, I'm a telecommuter, so it's a place where people can go and you can go and work because you work virtually anyway, or if you have a home office, whatever, even if you're an entrepreneur and you need a little workspace, it gives you that opportunity. So they have this co-work space, but the co-work space is actually about bringing people together. That's probably why I liked it, because it is about community. And it's about forming networks and finding people in tech who have interesting jobs or have interesting skill sets who might want to do something with those skill sets as well. And so with this, they have been going for 4 years right now in Cape Girardeau. They have over 40,000 square feet of co-work space. They've started 40 startups. They've created 150 jobs. And with that, they also create a venture capital fund, which is now up to $15 million. If there's a little company called Cargo. You've heard of Uber, right? They've created, and you can check it out on your iTunes store. You'll find the app for it. But Cargo runs in now 5 communities in Missouri, Illinois, Kentucky, and I think I think they're just in 3 states now in like 5 communities. But it is a mid-size Uber for mid-sized cities. So it is the answer to small communities where maybe you can't support all the commuter traffic. They've actually diversified what they do, and they also deliver groceries, kind of like Uber Eats. They deliver liquor, I think, and they do, courier services. So they courier people and services and so forth. So anyway, so those are what's one of the kinds of companies they start, and they do a lot of software. So they're mainly software developers, and we're going to partner with them through a project through the state. So the Cabinet for Economic Development has a Kentucky Innovation Project, and it's called RISE. And we have gotten to participate in this effort. And you can't really see it, but that's the Coke plant back there. Have any of you been into the Coke plant? You know where that is, Midtown? It's kind of big old building. Well, there's about 8,000 square feet of space in the Coke plant right now that's empty. And we're going to build it out. And we are going to create a co-work space. And we're also going to expand our maker space, which is where we do all of our community learning and education. And we're going to start some new programming, and this will happen in the next year. So if this is really, anything I'm about to say is really interesting to you, reach out to Suzanne, reach out to me, and check our website as well, and give us a way, because we'd really like to get as many people engaged in what we're doing. I think it's going to be really exciting and really, really transformational. But what we're going to start with Codify is a 20-week boot camp, and they do a programming boot camp. 50% of their participants end up in a job by the time they're done with the boot camp. And they increase their wages by 200% on average. It's Ruby on Rails, and we've already talked to them about what could we do in IT. And so it's not just a programming boot camp. What else is there? So I need those kinds of minds helping us inform on that. But they've been running it, and we actually are going to be funded through the EDA. So this has actually got federal funding. It's got some really nice teeth in it to get some really fast skills if you want. We also are going to start a youth coding league. And that starts in January, and we'll have 7 schools here in McCracken County. So Paducah City Schools and McCracken County Schools are going to start a youth coding league. If you go on your phone, check it out. It's a really cool program. It takes kids who are really interested in the competitive nature of sports, but they actually are competing with their code, and they get these different skill levels, and technical ratings, but also professional ratings, and they get rated, and then they have this big end of year celebration, and they actually have this huge awards ceremony because they compete from school to school, but then they compete on an individual level. So they get their own individual stats. So that will start up as well. And we like the idea because we've always thought that downstream is how you start growing the culture of tech. We have to start with youth. They're the ones who are going to embrace this, and they're actually the future workforce. So let's get them aware, and let's get them involved, and let's get them having fun with it. And not just as consumers. A big push for us is that we want our kids in this community to be creators of technology, not just consumers of technology. And I think that's a real big change. So it's exciting to see us doing that. The other thing that we'll have is a program called the First 50K. And this is for adult entrepreneurs. And what we'll do is seed $50,000 to 2 startups in this community. So it'll be in McCracken County. And we will, the competition is actually international. So it's put out on a platform that has a huge reach. It's an international competition, but we do kind of like a Shark Tank again. If we like your companies, we invite you to come to our community and start your company, and we seed you the first 50,000. Cape Girardeau's been doing this for 6 years now. 4 years now, and with really good success. So we want to start that as well, kind of get that energy going. So if you've had this something in the back of your mind, the platform I think is called F6, and you just go on there and you have to register, and it puts you in this huge pool of people, but it's a really amazing way to filter, and then a way to have these kinds of competitions. And then we'll also create a local venture fund. So we will have our own fund here that will seed small companies in tech. So, and that's about it. It's all happening. We'll start our build out hopefully first of the year, so 2020. Here are the folks that you need to contact. You can go to our website, Sprocket Paducah. If you want to follow us on Facebook, we have a lot of adult courses right now. We do CNC, we do 3D print, we do all kinds of making with Arduinos. So check it out. Bruce Lund is also one of our evening directors, and then our teachers. And then we actually are creating a maker community. So we're starting to build our membership base. So if you want to have a workshop of tech with CNCs and laser printers and things like that, you can actually join us there too. And you would reach out to Bruce at Make It Sprocket Paducah. That's about it. Any questions? Is it too much?
Come on, somebody's got a question.
All right.
Does your website contain information about how to getting kids involved, the programming?
Yeah, there's youth programs, there's a tab for youth programs, and then there's adult programs. So, and you can reach out to us on Facebook as well. So yeah, either way, it'd be great. Thank you.
What's the details around the 20-week program class?
So we haven't rolled it out yet. It won't roll out probably until spring. But we will start working with Codify before we start Build Out. Build Out will start probably January, February, but we will actually start our agreement with them as soon as the state kicks in. So probably be around the first of the year, but it'll probably be a spring boot camp at earliest. Yeah.
How much does it cost?
The boot camp is free because we have it's funded. In the last 4 weeks of the boot camp, you actually work with a company. So it's almost like it's an internship too as well. So yeah, it's a really cool program. And you can go to Codify and look at what it looks like because we don't have it on the Sprocket Paducah website yet. But go to Codify Labs and check out the 20-week boot camp, and it'll have all the information. It will be the exact same boot camp here. So yep.
And it's if I can add,
Yeah.
it's worth noting the reason that Codify started the boot camp was very selfish.
Yes.
That they needed more workers for the startups in their facility. So that's, they hire college graduates, they hire folks in the industry, but they needed more. So wanted to train them. So they train there and then go to work for the companies that are in the space.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they have some good connections to St. Louis as well. So that's, yeah.
Will the boot camp count towards like credit, or credit, or is that just
It's straight skill level only. And right now it's just Ruby on Rails. But they have the ability to teach whatever, because they've got a pretty wide net and a good network. So we could always change that out as well. And I think there's like 10 developers working in code labs for Cargo right now. So I mean, they really do. They'll recruit you in if you know your stuff. You can start working. Yeah. All right. Thank you.